Join Director Doug as he spans the globe by sea, by land, and air.
So this is a second annual event.
Yes, exactly it is. Last year turned out so nicely that we've expanded, made it a 2-day show. We're using more of the facility. In fact, we're using 2 different buildings. If you notice, there was a building right next to this one here. It's the Hillbridge building where we have all of our regular programming. This is where we'll have the majority of our panels and the majority of our movies. In fact, this is where our film festival will be.
Well, the film festival is so important to people who are trying to break into the industry and get to be known.
Exactly, and that's one of the things happening. We're having professional judges, people in the industry who are judging the films. And in fact, we've even had somebody from who was a former network executive for Fox Network checking all the stuff out as well.
Who thought here in Tulare, California?
Exactly. People don't realize that we have a lot of talent here, a lot of filmmaking people here who are really, really good at what they do, and they are deserving of the recognition, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this.
Well, that's one of the very good reasons, and we're so happy. What's the exciting thing? How about cosplay? What we got going there?
You know what? I don't know yet. My wife is actually in charge of that. And you know what? I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk to her about that. But I do know that we'll have a lot of people come. I'm already seeing some people walking around in costumes right now.
Well, absolutely, and that's an exciting part. That's great. And we saw you at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes, we did. It's where I met you, in fact.
Did you were you selling a book or offering one at that time?
You notice here at my table, I actually do have some of my children's books as well as my new comic book as well. And so I have several books on Amazon.com and McFarlane and Company. And in fact, we have some new stuff that'll be coming out fairly soon, too. In fact, the next issue will be coming out within a few days. And the only reason it hasn't come out sooner is because of this convention.
Well, I'm sure it's taken a lot of your time, and we're not going to take much more of your time, but it's wonderful to see you. And
I do want to add one last thing. People forget that although this is supposed to be an incredibly fun experience, and it will be, this ultimately is a fundraiser for Make the World a Better Place Children's Foundation to help homeless children and their families. So that's our primary purpose, to help these kids and keep them off the streets and get them in homes.
How are you?
Well, I'm very fine. Tell us about why you're here at Tulare Sci-Fi Con.
Well, I'm here because I was in a movie called Big Fish with Ewan McGregor, Danny DeVito. I've been in some other films, but that's one of the pictures I'm selling. I was also a Guinness World Record holder for most brick weight broken on a chest while laying on a bed of nails. And in fact, it was so unusual, Ripley's, in their syndicated comic strip, made a comic of me. So I have that, and then I also make duct tape wallets that I make from old comic books. So I started making wallets with regular duct tape, and then I ended up starting to do it with old comic books and bringing them back to life.
And going back to the bed of nails, I don't suppose you fell asleep, so how did you get that gig going?
I've been doing the bed of nails, doing different stunts with it. And I always wanted to be in the Guinness World Record book, so I was able to find out the record, went out, got all the information, and performed it during a halftime show of a football game. And then from there, Ripley's started contacting me about sword swallowing and also the bed of nails. Got a friendship with them, and next thing I know, one day a comic strip appeared. And it's been one of my greatest joys to have a comic strip from Ripley's.
Well, that's a tremendous and successful, and that's a real sword?
Yeah, this is the sword. I don't swallow it that much because it's a very difficult sword because of the thickness. But this was made for me by Irish Mike for the TV show Real Big Giant Swords on Discovery Channel. Can't remember. They changed the name 3 times. So it's Big Giant Swords on Discovery Channel. Irish Mike made this for me. his blacksmith, she did all the turns and twists on the handle, and it's something I'm very proud of. I was just able to finally get it a couple of days ago, so it's something in my collection that I really like having. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good night and enjoy this. This place has so many different varieties of things. You can't miss enjoying yourself, because if you're not having fun, it's your own fault.
First, I'd like to interview not the aliens, but the gentleman that told me it's safe to lay down here. And I never knew that they were this friendly, at least so far. Sir, tell me about my little buddies here.
Well, they're 4-foot grays, and we put them in a trance today just so people could take pictures. Usually they're not very nice, yeah.
Usually. Okay, well.
We took the tools away from them.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go to the stories I've heard, but tell us about what you're all about.
My name's Alan, and I have my partner Jeffrey. We do the Paranormal Central. We do an internet TV show for the last 5 years. We do Bigfoots, aliens, UFOs, fairies, trolls. We just got signed with Channel 26. We have 26 episodes, going to play 52 weeks, starting the end of this month.
Well, that's exciting. So tell us the name of the show again and what channel we can see it on.
Paranormal Central, and you could Google Paranormal Central, and that'll bring you to our YouTube and our webpage and our live stream, and it'll be called Paranormal Central on Channel 26.
How did you get started, or did they approach you, or did you...
They approached us with it. I guess the manager or some of the people in there are big fans of the paranormal and liked what we were doing on the internet and said, could you do a little format, and change and do like a talk show is what it's going to be. And we'll interview people that have stories.
Well, that's good. You've taken something that everybody and so many people at least have fun with this. The rest of us are scared to death. And before they kind of get a little more out of their trance, I'm going to get off this gurney. Excuse me. What is your name, and what have you been doing lately?
My name is John Mahan, and actually the last few years I've been writing a book that's just been published on Amazon.
Can you show us that book and tell us about it? Hold it up for us.
It's called A Life of Make-Believe, From Paralysis to Hollywood. When I was 12 years old, I had polio, and I was totally paralyzed, and everything came back except the left arm. And everything I did for 40 years in television, the jobs, I always played military guys or cops, I couldn't do in real life. So I lived in an imaginative reality. I didn't want to be an actor. It's like I had to be an actor.
You've done some incredible things. Now, you knew James Garner, you said.
Jim Garner and I were friends. He was the best of the best. He used to put me in, he'd say, Johnny, come here, and he'd put me on the floor of his car out of the shot. Then he'd do all these whirlies to scare the heck out of me, There was nobody better than Jim Garner.
Well, that's a really wonderful tradition. A lot of those things in Hollywood and the tabloids, we don't know there's really super people out there and just dedicated, and they give so much. What are some of the shows that you're particularly proud and happy that you got to be a part of?
Well, I think I'm most proud of L.A. Confidential, but I've done a lot of plays in New York, and I was in the original Exorcist, 1972, The Couch Trip with Dan Aykroyd and Walter Matthau. Did a Broadway play with Al Pacino, Richard III. He's probably one of the best actors, pound for pound, I ever worked with. An amazing actor. And the late John Cassell, who played his brother in all the Godfather movies. I worked with Sidney Poitier and Little Nikita. We did a 6-page scene. I walked on a soundstage at 6:30 in the morning, and who's standing there but Sidney Poitier? When we started to shoot, it got so we got in a really heated argument. We didn't like each other. And we're yelling, and I had to stop. I said, wait a minute, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm yelling at Sidney Poitier. So we sat down and what I call created an imaginative reality, a backstory of how we got in the FBI together, you know. It took less than 2 minutes. Then we were up on our feet and it all worked.
Well, you know, those behind the scenes, you really can't appreciate what's going on, but we appreciate you telling us that, and thank you for making the trip over here.